So when I was asking you about things you want to work on, you had mentioned that when you travel, you break out. So a physical thing linked to a certain condition of traveling.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's normally when I'm traveling quite far, going through big changes, and I assume it's weather change, but it's probably also stress related.
You suppose? Just might be.
Just mine.
How far would you have to go? I mean, would a trip, say, 500 miles away trigger it, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, and I travel to Denver pretty regularly, but that's a really huge elevation difference. So there's that. When I moved abroad, I moved to Prague, which is really not very different weather, but that continued for about 4 months.
And it's literally something you can't avoid noticing, too, so you know when it's happening.
Know when it's happening.
Yeah, and you're being triggered by it. And it's an obvious thing that is there for your attention, so.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. When was the first time you ever remember having that happen?
I don't know for sure. It's an excellent question. I'm just trying to think of when I started noticing that. But I've traveled with some regularity for the entirety of my life, so probably always. DC, I guess.
How old were you then?
12.
12,
11
okay.
or 12.
Okay. And you went to DC from?
Kansas City.
Okay.
I went with a few of my cousins to see one of my aunts.
So you went with your cousins, you go to see one of your aunts, and what was happening around that visit? Was it a good visit, a bad visit?
It was, I think, my first visit to DC, and maybe only the second or third time I had met that aunt, because she and my father hadn't spoken in 20 years.
So what about the visit, given that you've been estranged from her, your family had been estranged from her for a long time?
I'm the youngest of that particular group of cousins.
Right.
And they were like siblings to me.
Right.
In the way that they were quite cruel at that age.
What did they say that you remember that was cruel? What were their words?
I don't remember anything specifically.
Let's just tap on that. So let's just tap and say, even though I don't remember anything specifically.
Even though I don't remember anything specifically.
During that visit when I was 12.
During that visit when I was 12.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I remember they were cruel.
Even though I remember they were cruel.
But not their exact words.
But not their exact words.
I still deeply and completely accept myself.
I still deeply and completely accept myself.
They were cruel.
They were cruel.
Cruel words.
Cruel words.
Cruel words hurt.
Cruel words hurt.
Those cruel words.
Those cruel words.
Cruel words.
Cruel words.
I just think back to any conversations or statements that might have made you think the word cruel.
Same cousin, different time.
How old were you?
Probably about the same age. I think I was probably 10 or 11.
Okay.
I was visiting, I had 2 male cousins in Kansas City and 2 female cousins in Memphis.
Right.
And the younger of those was still 3 years older than me. And what we found out, of course, later was that she had a huge eating disorder and had to be hospitalized for anorexia. But unfortunately, she really used that as a way to torture me and be very cruel, and would give me a hard time about not being able to go a whole day without eating, and would call me fat for not going a whole day without eating.
That was her criterion of the way one should eat. Be able to go a whole day without eating.
Right.
Wow.
She would actually try to have competitions with me and her sister about how long we could all go.
So as you talk about that, where are you feeling that in your body?
Oh, I feel kind of flushed in the face.
Right.
Am I turning a little red?
Oh, just a little, yes. Yeah. Yeah. And give it a number. the strength of that emotion you associate with that?
8 or 9.
Okay. So let's just tap on that in its most obvious form, which so even though she called me fat,
Even though she called me fat,
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Again, even though she called me fat.
Even though she called me fat.
Are you still 8 or 9, or are you more, or are you
Oh, I'm about the same.
about the same? Okay. What was the sigh about? I just noticed you sigh heavily, and I was wondering.
I'm just trying to take a deep breath and not start yelling. I'm getting pretty pissed.
Okay, well, maybe you should yell. Be
Um,
pissed. Because probably you weren't pissed then. You probably never said a word to her about.
No, of course not.
Yeah, so be pissed.
I don't know that I know how to do that.
What would happen if you got pissed? What's the worst that would happen if you got pissed?
Nothing. Nothing would happen. It would make no difference, except I would probably feel worse.
So you'd feel worse if you got pissed.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I'd probably carry anger around in my body.
Rather than expressing it.
I don't know. I want to be sympathetic here and not get angry, but because I understand when someone does something like that to you, it's because they're in so much more pain.
Right.
But that's really unfair.
Right.
Fuck her.
Right. Try that.
I think that's illegal. I mean, it's Tennessee, not Arkansas.
The cat's out of the bag. We all know now, George.
Just get angry.
Absolutely.
Um,
I'm going to give you a permission slip to get angry. I'm going to write on here, permission to be angry.
I am angry. I'm mad. She said terrible things to me over the years.
Okay, here's your official EFTUniverse permission slip to be angry. I'm sorry, my handwriting's rather bad. But that is what it says, I promise.
And now I'm pissed.
Good. I'm pissed.
I'm pissed.
I'm angry.
I'm really angry. It's really unfair.
It really is unfair. It was totally unfair. I was 12.
I was 12.
What did I know?
What did I know?
I didn't deserve that treatment.
I didn't deserve that treatment.
I deserve to be respected and loved and nurtured.
I deserve to be respected and loved and nurtured. And that's not what happened.
Yeah. And I'm angry about that.
And I'm angry about it.
They were my relatives.
They were my relatives.
They should be nice to me.
They should be nice to me.
But they weren't.
But they weren't.
They were cruel.
They were cruel.
The people I counted on to respect me and be kind to me were cruel to me.
The people I counted on were cruel to me.
And I'm angry about that.
And I'm angry about that.
She called me fat
She called me fat.
because I could not eat for the whole day.
Because I couldn't not eat for the whole day.
It's totally ridiculous.
Which is totally ridiculous.
But when you're 12, you don't know the rules.
When you're 12, you don't know the rules.
How old was she?
15?
15. Oh, so she knew the rules.
She knew the rules.
Okay, so even though you're now twice as old, you're still taking your inner marching orders from a 15-year-old. You're still taking your advice about eating, bodies, anger, and all those things from a 15-year-old.
That's a great idea, I think.
Brilliant. Yeah, right.
I'm feeling really good about that now.
Yeah. So maybe you can tell her a thing or two. So go ahead and tell her.
I don't know what I would say to her. I don't know how to be angry because I know that she suffered.
Let's focus on you. So she suffered, and you can't do much about that, but you can focus on your suffering that was triggered by her suffering. Yeah, yeah. I don't know how to be angry,
I don't know how to be angry.
but I still deeply and completely accept myself.
I still deeply and completely accept myself.
Angry.
Angry.
Angry George.
Angry George.
Angry George.
Angry George.
Angry George.
Angry George.
I love and accept Angry George.
I love and accept Angry George.
I love and accept George no matter how angry she is.
I love and accept George no matter how angry she gets.
How much do you believe that? Do you believe that a lot or a little bit? Will you really accept yourself if you were really angry?
Yes.
Good. So let's say it a few more times. I really accept Angry George.
I really accept Angry George.
Totally Angry George.
Totally Angry George.
Out of control Angry George.
Out of control Angry George.
Extreme Angry George.
Extreme Angry George.
Violently Angry George.
Violently Angry George.
Scary Angry George.
Scary Angry George.
What would George do if you were really angry?
Venomous.
Venomous.
So venomous.
Yeah. You'd probably hurt other people the way your cousin hurt you. Yeah. So it's not safe to be angry.
I know that it's not safe, but I don't like to make other people feel bad.
Yeah. So what do you do with it? You don't make them feel bad. If they're being cruel to you, what do you do with that? That's
I vent and I pace and I chain smoke and I probably break out and then I let it go.
And just feel into your body now. Stop tapping for a second. Just feel your body and just see if your body is telling you you really let it go, or if it's still stuck there someplace.
Oh, it's
Where?
I don't know if it's my hands or if it's the pit of my stomach. Maybe both.
Describe both places. Just describe any feelings you have with it. Color, shape, density, vibration.
My hands just kind of ache.
Tell me about the ache. Describe the ache.
That feeling you get when you've handwritten like a 10-page essay and you can't really move your fingers anymore. They're kind of shaking. They're definitely shaking.
So feel that feeling for a moment. Just let yourself feel that feeling, that aching in your hands. Give it a number, an intensity number. Angry George.
Angry George.
Angry George.
Maybe a 7.
Okay. And then the pit of your stomach. Let's go there. Describe that for me.
The only thing I can think of is that it just feels kind of empty and acidic, like I've gone a whole day without eating.
What color is it? That empty acidic feeling.
Red, pinkish.
Okay. Give that a second number, so give that number as well as your hands. So tune into that and
Maybe 4, 5.
4, 5, okay. So just tap and say, I have this red, pinkish, empty acidic feeling in the pit of my stomach.
I have this red, pinkish, empty, acidic feeling in the pit of my stomach.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
Deeply, completely accept myself.
Deeply and completely accept myself.
My angry George self.
My angry George self.
Especially my angry George self.
Especially my angry George self.
Angry George.
Angry George.
George deserves to be angry.
George deserves to be angry.
George, back to these points. George does not deserve to be angry.
George does not deserve to be angry.
It's not safe to be angry.
It's not safe to be angry.
It's not safe to tell people how you feel.
It's not safe to tell people how you feel.
It is safe to tell people how you feel.
It is safe to tell people how you feel.
Angry George.
Angry George.
Angry people.
Angry people.
Other people are angry.
Other people are angry.
It's not safe to be angry.
It's not safe to be angry.
It's not safe for me to be angry.
It's not safe for me to be angry.
Angry George.
Angry George.
That's what they'll call me, Angry George.
That's what they'll call me, Angry George.
Be your nickname from now on. Whenever I see you, I'll just think, oh, there's Angry George.
That's right, Angry George.
Yeah, we'll all feel all your other positive characteristics. We'll just think about Angry George.
It seems fair.
Absolutely. We've discovered the truth about you now, so we all know.
I'm Angry George.
You're Angry George, yeah. Congratulations. Nice to meet you, Angry George.
Nice to meet you.
So just sit there and be Angry George for a moment. and see what number you are. Just give your facial flushing a number again. Think about that number.
Oh God, that's probably the same. It's probably still just as red as I think it is. It's probably a 6 or 7.
Okay. And then tune back into your hands, see if they're still at the same level.
No, that's maybe a 3.
Okay, it's gone down a bit. Okay, and then how about that reddish pinkish feeling in your stomach? What number is that now?
It still feels a little acidic. Maybe a 3.
Okay. So let's go back to your cousins, Washington, D.C., the trip you made. Maybe don't name your cousins. Give her an imaginary name. Give her a name that represents the full cruelty of what she did to you. An imaginary name that represents how cruel she was.
Well, that's also 5 letters. I don't even know what else I would call her. Her name has been pretty synonymous for bitches for me for forever.
That angry bitch.
That angry bitch.
I'm angry at her.
I'm angry at her.
And I'm justified in being angry at her.
And I'm justified in being angry with her.
She deserves to have people angry at her.
She deserves to have people angry at her.
She deserves what she gets.
She deserves what she gets.
Angry bitch.
Angry bitch. Loudly.
I know you can do it.
That angry bitch!
Yeah, good.
Feel better?
Thank you. I do. That angry bitch.
That angry bitch.
No, you are getting flushed again now. I'm just seeing that happening. So your number going up, or what's happening with down? Sideways?
My heart rate's up. Still feels like it's 7 or 8.
Yeah. That angry bitch. She was an angry bitch.
She was an angry bitch. She still is.
She still is. And I'm angry about how she treated me.
And I'm angry about how she treated me.
And if I expressed my anger,
And if I expressed my anger,
I'd be the angry bitch.
I'd be the angry bitch.
We can't have that happen now.
Can't have that.
So I can't express my anger
So I can't express my anger
at how cruelly I was treated.
at how cruelly I was treated.
I'm in a double bind here.
I'm in a double bind.
I can't win.
I can't win.
Gotta stuff it. Stuff it inside.
Gotta stop it.
Because if I express it, then I become the angry bitch.
Because if I express it, then I become the angry bitch.
Tell you what, let's do a little experiment here. A lot of fun, George. I'd like you to just be the angry bitch. Just express the angry bitch. Say, I am the angry bitch.
I am
Tap
the
on
angry
that.
bitch.
I am the angry bitch, loudly. Claim it. Claim all the energy and the power that comes from owning the emotion you felt when she treated you cruelly.
I'm the angry bitch.
And I still love and accept myself.
And I still love and accept myself.
In fact, the more angry, the more bitchy I get,
In fact, the more bitchy I get,
the more I love myself.
the more I love myself.
Only by being fully angry and bitchy
Only by being fully angry and bitchy
will I fully love myself.
will I fully love myself.
I love that part of myself.
I love that part of myself
and every other part of myself.
and every other part of myself.
Angry bitch.
Angry bitch.
Angry bitch George.
Angry bitch George.
I love her.
I love her.
Everyone loves her.
Everyone loves her.
And the angrier she gets,
And the angrier she gets,
the more we love her.
the more we love her.
We love her,
We love her,
however she is.
however she is.
We love her angry.
We love her angry.
We love her not angry.
We love her not angry.
We love her however she is.
We love her however she is.
She is.
She is.
She is the way she is.
She is the way she is.
She's angry sometimes.
She's angry sometimes.
Not angry always.
Not angry always.
But she is angry
But
sometimes.
she is angry sometimes.
It's safe to be angry.
It's safe to be angry.
It's okay to be angry.
It's okay to be angry.
I'm going to tap over here and do the 9-gamut procedure. So close your eyes and open them. Eyes hard down to the left. Eyes hard down to the right. Eyes in a big circle. Just say angry bitch. Go slowly. Very angry, very bitchy. Just keep on going,
Very
round and round.
angry. Very bitchy. Very angry. And very bitchy.
Go the other way, slowly. Very angry.
Very angry.
Very, very angry.
Very, very angry.
Very, very bitchy.
Very, very bitchy.
Angry George.
Angry George.
Angry bitchy George.
Angry bitchy George.
Angry bitchy George.
Angry bitchy George.
Okay, just take a deep breath. Feel your body. It's safe to be angry.
It's safe to be angry.
I'm allowed to be angry.
I'm allowed to be angry.
I won't hurt people.
I probably won't hurt people.
Maybe I will hurt them a little bit.
Maybe I will hurt them a little bit.
Maybe they deserve to get hurt.
Maybe they deserve to get hurt.
Maybe they're long overdue getting
Maybe
hurt.
they're long overdue.
By Angry Bitchy George.
By Angry bitchy George.
Because she's been storing up for a long time
She's been storing up for a long time
in her body,
in her body.
but now it's breaking out.
But now it's breaking out.
And she's traveling a long way to give them the message.
She's traveling a long way to give them the message.
I deeply accept her,
I deeply accept her,
just the way she is.
just the way she is.
Angry Bitchy George.
Angry bitchy George.
Accept her, love her.
Accept her, love her.
She's part of me.
She's part of me,
That's okay.
and that's okay.
So just again, check back in with your body and see how you're doing.
Hands feel fine.
Okay?
Stomach feels mostly good. Maybe a 1.
Okay.
I don't know, how's my cyst?
What's this? Good, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah. So just stay there for a moment. So you see how physical issues and psychological issues and childhood issues are so interlinked. And if she just goes to the dermatologist for the cyst, she's missed all these other aspects of it. So do go to the dermatologist if you need to, but also look at the emotional aspects of it. Find where they are. When do they begin? Who triggered them? Is that person in me? Am I so afraid of my cousin because I'm afraid of what's in me? So you ask yourself these kinds of questions, these emotional questions, these early questions. Drill down deep. And you'll hear these cognitive shifts. Like she said at some point, well, she was really messed up as well. I realize that now. So she went from seeing her cousin as the oppressor to having compassion for her cousin, or at least recognition that her cousin had a pretty difficult road to hoe as well. So, Jen, what else did you see as you were...
Okay, first, again, this is more just analyzing what Dawson's technique might have been. He starts with questioning, when does it happen? When was the first time ever? She doesn't immediately come up with something, so he has her tap, and then a memory does come up about the time the cousin was cruel. He has her located in her body, located emotional suds on fat. She makes a sigh. He notices her physical shift and asks her about that. He invites her several times throughout the whole thing to express the anger and to use her voice. He uses humor by giving the permission slip.
Keep that thing too.
I'm gonna
Don't
frame
lose
it.
that.
I'm gonna frame it. No one else will know what it says. But
He does sort of a tapping and a ranting, only he's leading the ranting because she's still reluctant to express the anger, so he's making the statements and then she repeats after him. He highlights the cognition that she's operating under by following the rules of a 15-year-old still some reluctance to get angry, so he just stays right where she is with that, even though I can't be angry. Checks the truth of the affirmation, can you accept yourself? Is the affirmation in the setup true? Is it okay to say it? Then he starts to bring in the term Angry George and have her focus on the fact that she's not wanting to identify with the angry part of her. And then he asks her, how do you deal with anger? And she says, I vent, tap, smoke, let it go. And then the physical symptoms start to come up. So he turns to the physical. picks up on her body reactions. She's got something in her stomach, her hands, and I guess her face was flushed. Then he gets very specific about the physical symptoms, the size of them, the shape of them, how intense they are, and then he comes back to the words angry George. Maybe because so he focuses on, again, the part that I assume he's figuring won't identify or won't allow or won't accept is the angry part of her. And then he taps on the global attitude about anger, so sort of backing up a little bit and getting more global. And then he introduces her to the angry part of herself, gets the suds again on the hand, returns back to the cruel cousin, getting very specific by, I think, maybe trying to get into that sort of neural network of that memory by trying to get a title for the cousin. Her heart rate is back up. Then he identifies the conflict that she's having herself, that if I allow myself to be angry, then I'm the angry bitch. And it's okay if she's the angry bitch, but I don't want to be the angry bitch. So he goes back to angry bitch George, keeps persistence with trying to get her in touch with the anger. He just keeps coming back to this, angry George. Then he uses the 9 gamut to maybe help the energy shift. And then he explores beliefs about anger. Is it safe to be angry? Can I allow myself to be angry? And makes the connection, suggesting a connection with anger breaking out and having to travel a long distance to do that. Checks his suds again. That's it.
So how are you now, George, around that whole idea of being angry that I was trying to have you face?
Well, I still think she's a big bitch. Still kind of angry.
Okay, good.
But I'm okay probably with being angry for a while.
Good. But you being angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And just describe your anger now in terms of how it feels in your body.
Doesn't feel bad.
Yeah. It may be a healthy energy release. That's what it looks like to me. That it's strong, but it's kind of empowered as well, rather than scary.
I feel a little taller. Do I look a little taller?
Yeah, because we all do have to stuff that anger often, and when we're kids, we have no place to put it. So, we are in that double bind, and many other double binds as well. So, but now with EFT, we can start to process it, let it shift, let it flow through us, and if someone does do something that's a genuine violation, we may feel a surge of energy through our bodies, but we can process that, let it flow, rather than stuffing it, getting it stuck in our bodies where it hurts us later on. So this is worth exploring further in other sessions.
Sure it is.
But you don't be afraid of it. With EFT you can yell and scream and swear. And I'm sitting here, I'm not taking it personally, I'm not thinking any worse of you. Well, actually rather enjoying you. Just owning this part of you that you've had to push down for a long time, and loving you with it, and loving that part of yourself as well. So self-love with the anger.
Yeah, I feel okay about being angry.
Good. So how is your face now? Just check back in with your face, with your stomach, with your hands.
I don't feel flushed. Do I look flushed?
No.
My hands feel fine. I'm holding water just fine. And a permission slip to be angry. Stomach feels fine.
Think back to that 12-year-old incident that you had when you went to D.C., saw your cousin for the first time, the aunt, your family had been estranged from for a while.
I don't know, when I think about it, my stomach gets a little tingly again.
Okay.
Maybe a 3.
Okay.
Maybe a 3.
So that's the next thing you'd work on in a subsequent session, is going back there. Look for more aspects as well. We may, like eventually after quite some digging, we found that her calling you fat was an issue. And so that's one thing. It's a really charged word, so it's worth tapping on that one thing as one aspect.
Yeah.
Also, not eating for a day, that's...
Really unhealthy.
Yeah. Something else worth tapping on that event. And anything that branches up. So maybe a whole group of things that branch out from that. We can use fat as a tabletop and then find legs that tie into that. It could be a whole bunch of them.
That's actually something that I work with my practitioner.
Good. Well, thanks for working in front of all of us. I so appreciate that.
Thanks, James.
Yeah. Okay.